It's Thursday, December 27th here at the West End Gun Club, another day in paradise. I decided to come out to the range this morning because I looked at the weather report for the next few days and it looks like it's going to be pretty windy, and I wanted to get some more rimfire in because of what happened in the last range vlog with regards to the slow muzzle velocity. So I kind of wanted to test some ammo even though I didn't get it all in. Actually, I'm still waiting for an order to come in from Target Sports, but I still wanted to come out to the range because, I mean, it's the holiday break and I go back to work next week on the 2nd. So with this time off, I'm trying to take advantage of as many days as I can to come to the range. And unfortunately, the weather's not going to be cooperating for the next few days. So right now today is like the best day to come out, at least compared to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'm going to get set up and we'll start shooting. You're probably wondering what this rifle is, considering I don't think I've ever shot this rifle on the vlog before. I don't think I've taken this thing out to the range in quite some time, but this is my 1022. This is my standard 1022 I've had since 2000, I think, 2001. It's pretty old. It's got a Volquartsen. I think it's an 18.5-inch barrel. I don't recall. But it's built off a Ruger, your standard Ruger rifle, the base model that you get for, back then you got them for about $125, $150. I think now the base model runs for $225 roughly. But then I just pretty much swapped out the barrel, changed out the stock with this Bell & Carlson on-shoot style stock. And then the Volquartsen barrel has the Volquartsen barrel mounted scope mount. So ideally, this is what you want on the Takedown because the optic will always be in line with the bore, so it doesn't matter how the action in the barrel fit. It's always going to be in line with the bore. And I've been pondering whether or not to get the Magpul forward-mounted optic mount or whatever that replaces the barrel block. But that's a whole other conversation. Anyway, I decided to throw this in the Jeep when I was loading up for the range visit, since I kind of wanted to see what this gun shot, because I don't think I've chronographed this gun ever. So it'd be interesting to see what this chronographs on the lab radar with the SK ammo. And if you remember from the last episode of the range vlog, the 1022 Takedown was shooting only about 960, 970 feet per second, which is very slow for this ammo. The CZ shoots the same ammo around 1050 feet per second, which is about normal for a 16-inch barrel with these types of match loads, these subsonic match loads. So I kind of wanted to see, again, this is 18.5, so I think it should be relatively the same velocity as to a 16.5-inch barrel. Technically, it does start to lose. There's studies on how short or the length of a barrel and at what point it's diminishing returns on barrel length and velocity because of friction. With centerfire rifles, you generally get more velocity with a longer barrel, but with rimfire, it's different because the bullet's so light and you're not pushing it that fast, and therefore at a certain point, friction down the rifling becomes an issue and it'll slow the bullet down. Okay, we're on, I think. I'll come up one. I'm looking over my bore constantly, over my scope, just to make sure that I'm not moving my rifle, since I'm shooting in front of the lab radar, or rather behind the lab radar. So my muzzle's before the actual unit. Someone asked me earlier how I was getting rimfire to detect on the lab radar without the external microphone. So there's 3 things you need to do. 1, set your lab radar to handgun. 2, set your lab radar in front of the muzzle and offset, obviously. And number 3, set your sensitivity to the highest. So that's number 1. And that should work. And you got to be careful, because the whole point of lab radar is so you're not supposed to have, you're usually not supposed to have the lab radar in front of the muzzle. It's supposed to be next to it or behind it. And that's for the safety reason, so you don't shoot your chronograph like a lot of people do with optical chronographs. So in this scenario, this is how you get it to work with rimfire without the external microphone accessory. So you just got to be careful that if you don't have an experienced shooter behind the gun, they might be moving the rifle around depending on how you're set up and if your bags are fixed or if you got a rest. But you just got to be careful, because you might do something stupid and shoot your lab radar and you're not going to have a good day. If we take a look at the data here, it picked up 32 rounds. I thought I shot 40. It is what it is. The average is 1035. Highest is 1077. Lowest is 989. Extreme spread of 88, which is terrible because of high and low. And a standard deviation of 22.8. But this gun, this longer barrel 1022 is actually printing slower than my 16 and a half inch CZ barrel, which shoots about 1050. So it's probably losing velocity, plus this is semi-auto, so some of that gases might not be fully translating to the bore. But this is definitely shooting faster than my 1022 Takedown. Here's the sighting rounds. Just walked it in, got it dialed in here. Shot 5 rounds, 5 rounds, 5 rounds, and 5 rounds. Kind of open up right there, but gun shoots pretty well at 25 yards. I mean, most 1022s with a decent barrel should shoot well at 25 yards. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run some rounds through the Takedown, but I did bring some high velocity rounds. I didn't want to shoot high velocity until I got the synthetic buffer, recoil buffer. I mean, I've never cracked my 1022 and I've shot high velocity out of that one, my standard one, but people claim that they cracked receivers, and I kind of want to get the polymer buffer to replace the recoil, the standard OEM recoil bolt buffer, so I don't crack the receiver with high velocity rounds, but we'll shoot some anyway today. I'm not going to shoot that many, and I don't know. I'm waiting for that to come in. It should come in this week, hopefully. And if we take a look at this steel target that's hanging here, this was me. If you recall from the last time I was out, last Sunday, I put these rounds on here myself. So no one's been here shooting, at least on this range, since I've been here last Sunday. It's getting a little chilly, though. There's a little bit of a breeze. I might get my jacket out of the Jeep, but this is what I have as far as non-match type ammo, I guess, or like higher velocity. I have this old CCI Blazer. This is standard velocity stuff. I have some old Federal Classic standard velocity stuff. I have some old Remington. This is considered high velocity. According to this, it doesn't even have a velocity rating on it. So, oh, here it is. 40 grain, 1255 feet per second. I have some of this Federal HV match, high velocity match. This stuff is supposed to be 1,200 feet per second. Sorry, that's my GoPro turning off. And I have some of this Remington Golden Bullet high velocity, and that stuff is really fast, or 1,255 feet per second. So if the rule holds that the SK, which is 1050 roughly, is printing 190 feet per second slower, I expect all this other ammo to shoot about 90 feet per second slower. But I'm gonna go ahead and shoot a magazine full of SK to make sure that this gun is still shooting at the same velocity as I observed last week. And then as to get the to get the baseline control data to use against the rest of this stuff today. Having some failures to extract right now. So it looks like it's not printing at 967 feet per second, which is what I observed last week. So that's a good baseline control. We're going to go ahead and start shooting some other ammo here. So I'm going to set up a new string. Series 164 CCI Blazer, should be standard velocity ammo. You can definitely tell that one's shot slower. But 18 rounds fired out of 20, 2 failures to fire. We're looking at 1154. Don't know what these are rated for, but we'll find out when I get back to an internet connection. So we're going to go ahead and shoot. I think I'll go ahead and try the Federal standard velocity that I have. These are factory seconds. I can't remember who gave these to me. I had a bunch of these from my old gun club, Inland Fish and Game. I think one of the guys there gave me a box to try out because I think he got these for real cheap and they were shooting really good out of his one of his bolt guns. But he gave me a box to try out. Wow, only 1,000. You can definitely feel it. Not as much kick as a CCI. .20 rounds fired, one went under 1,000. So I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to be 1,200 feet per second, but if it is, it's 200 feet per second slower. It's possible the standard velocity might be at 1,100, 1,150, but we won't know until I get to an internet connection to verify this. But, so 20 rounds of the Federal Classic factory second standard velocity shot 1023 feet per second. If we go by the rule that my SK was shooting 90 feet per second slower, if we transfer that over to this, then by definition, this should be about 1110, 1115 feet per second. Don't know. I need to put some pacers out there, so let's just walk out there and take a look at the targets while we're out there. Here's 20 rounds with the SK, 20 rounds with the CCI Blazer, and 20 rounds that Federal Classic standard velocity stuff. Obviously, the CCI Blazer was shooting comparatively to the SK, and then the Federal standard stuff wasn't all that great. Compared to the 1022 with a scope, the Takedown isn't shooting as well, and even when I had the 1022 Takedown with a scope on it, it still wasn't shooting as tight as this. I mean, it's just the design of that 1022 Takedown. I know it can shoot about 3/4 of an inch at 25 yards, which is all I'm asking for out of that gun. I mean, it's not meant to be a precise gun or an accurate gun, or precise is the word. Not too precise. If I wanted precise, obviously I would shoot my CZ or even my 1022, my standard one. But we're gonna go ahead and shoot on these other 3 pasters with the other ammo that I have, and then we'll put it out to 25 or 50 because I want to shoot that 1022 standard gun at 50 yards to see how that shoots, because I haven't shot it in quite some time. Series 166, we're going to go ahead and shoot the Federal Premium High Velocity Match Gold Medal. I haven't really heard too much about this stuff, but it's rated at 1,200 feet per second according to the box. So the Federal, I got 18 rounds, missed 2 rounds, but it's posting 1127 average with an advertised velocity of 1200. So we're shooting about 75, so 73 feet per second slower. Series 167 is going to be the Remington High Velocity. This stuff is, I say old, it's been probably in my ammo cans for at least 10 years. I would say longer. That should be 10. Yep. Interesting. It's kind of all over the board on this one. But we're looking at a 20 round aggregate. 1183 feet per second average. High was a 1265, low was a 1080. And you can feel that 1080 just had a lot less kick to it than the previous ones. Series 168 will be the Remington Golden Bullet. This is the new stuff that I just recently acquired. This is supposed to be also 1255 feet per second. And the one thing about this ammo is definitely it's dirtier because I'm loading it up, and all this high velocity stuff does shoot dirtier than the Match. The Match ammo has lube on it, which makes it messier to load, but doesn't shoot as dirty as the other stuff. So can't complain about Match ammo and the lubrication they use. Wow, 1255. Now it's actually printing 1250-41. Okay, that dropped a whole 100 feet per second. That one's low. Yep, 1083, you can feel it. Should jump up again. Interesting, could not track. Whoa, that sounded pretty loud. 1328 feet per second. You heard it off the crack, the sonic crack, that it was moving pretty fast. The extreme spread should be pretty incredible on this one. Let's take a look. 19 rounds, 20 rounds fired, 19 detected. Extreme spread at 245. So your average is 1149, but you had a high of 1328 and a low of 1083. That's pretty incredible. The sun is moving in and out because of the clouds. I think it's supposed to burn off, but. So, ignore these. These were from my walking in, my 1022 earlier. But that high velocity match stuff actually shoots pretty nicely. I like this. And it stays under 1200 feet per second. I think it's hovering right now at 1115, which is still under barely the speed of sound. That Remington, wow, the Remington actually shoots well too, though. This is the old stuff, and this is the new stuff. That's pretty incredible that it's shooting that tight. That's pretty good. Even though I don't like how it's jumping up and down in velocity, that's pretty good. So it looks like this gun wants to shoot fast, if you look at it, although this Federal stuff isn't all that good. Granted, those were factory seconds, so the quality on control on that was pretty shitty. CCI is pretty cool. That Federal gold medal high velocity match is pretty good. So on the old Remington, but that golden bullet stuff that's got that 245 extreme spread that's shooting pretty tight. So, wow, that's pretty interesting. Not sure what to say about that. I definitely want to get the higher that polymer buffer. So if I'm going to start shooting some more of these high velocity rounds, I'm going to definitely get the polymer buffer, or wait till I get the polymer buffer before I start shooting more. But I think I'm going to have to shoot high velocity in this gun. That 1022, the standard one, shot pretty well at 50 yards. Here we have a nice, about a 3/4 inch group. This is a kind of high, but 1/2 inch, 3/4. This one is definitely under 1/2 inch. This one opened up a little bit, but yeah, that gun, I've neglected it, but it shoots pretty well. But what really surprises me is this. With that high velocity Remington golden bullet ammo. Definitely going to order more high velocity rounds to test to that takedown. Gonna be keeping an eye on the velocities on the lab radar though, to see if the barrel speeds up, because I didn't expect the Rimfire barrel to need that much breaking in compared to a center fire like my 6mm Creedmoor, which gained about 50 feet per second after the first 100 rounds. But we're going to keep a close eye on the takedown barrel to see how it performs in terms of velocity. I'm done shooting for the day, but to summarize this range visit, shot 2 1022s, my 1022 Classic, which I've had for 19 years, and then the 1022 Takedown. The 1022 Classic was shooting pretty well, very well today. Have neglected it since I haven't shot it very much at all in the past several years. but it shows that it can shoot both at 25 and 50 yards, and it can keep up with my CZ 455. And the 1022 Takedown, testing out all this high velocity and standard velocity ammo, and it's pretty eye-opening today. Even though this Golden Bullet stuff shot terribly with regards to the velocity consistency and the velocity data, it shot really tight at 25 yards. I'm sure it's going to fall off at 50, but the fact that it can hold those groups, that tight a group at 25, means that it is promising. And these other higher velocity rounds, the fact that they're shooting better than SK at 25, means I may have to shoot high velocity in the 1022 Takedown. So anyway, that's it for this range vlog. Today is Thursday, December 27th here at the West End Gun Club. Again, I came out here today just last minute because I looked at the weather report or the weather forecast for the next several days. And so I may or may not be able to come out to the range again before the new year. But there is a chance I'll come out on maybe that Monday, on the New Year's Eve, depending on how the weather is and depending on what I have coming in related to the Takedown, if more ammo comes in that I order from Target Sports USA. In the event that I don't vlog again before New Year's, I just wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year and a safe Happy New Year, and looking forward to 2019. So that's it for this range vlog. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so I had 18 rounds. I think I had 2 failures to extract / fire. Yeah, this one's got a firing pin strike on it. Let's take a look at it, see if this one can fire on the second strike. Unlikely. Yeah, that's a dead round.